Hi, I'm Kat and I play Red. A few weeks back, I don't know, possibly longer, no, much longer ago, we took a look at Ethnos, which is, it's a good game, we enjoy it, it's nice and quick and easy for larger player counts. Today, we're going to have a look at the the revised version, I guess, of Ethnos, which is Archeos Society. Now, this is designed by Paolo Mori, who did Ethnos, and produced by Space Cowboys. Now, I'm going to go through it and I'll talk about the differences between this and Ethnos at the end of the video. Because obviously if you've not played Ethnos, if you've not seen my video, it's not going to make a lot of sense. So for now, let's have a look at Archeos Society. The expedition began only 3 days ago, yet the area is far more rich in artifacts and ancient secrets than we could have imagined. There are several major excavation sites nearby, each one difficult to access. For this groundbreaking expedition to succeed, we're going to need the very best and brightest from the Archeos Society. We call upon all members, linguists, botanists, professors, and even students are encouraged to come and join us. There are other teams here as well, so we will be recruiting local guys for their expertise. We'll play nice with our rivals, but it is us who will make the largest discoveries and bring the greatest prestige to the Archeos Society. So, we've chosen the 6 basic roles for this game. The box actually comes with 12 and you're going to choose 6 to play with. You can mix and match, but these are the 6 basic. So we have the physician, the guide, the photographer, pilot, the botanists and the students. And what we've done is taken all the cards for those 6 factions and shuffled them into one big deck. So let's pop these in at random and shuffle this up and set the game up ready to play. So you're going to start by giving each player 1 card and then create the display. So start with 1 card. Now the display will be equal to the number of players plus 2. Now we're going to set up for 2 players. We've only got 1 lot of pieces on the board, but you guys get the gist by now. So let's pop them this way actually. So 1, 2, 3, move them up, 4. So this is our display. This is my hand card. What have I got? Oh, exciting. We're now going to take our big deck and split it into 2 roughly even halves. Going to take the 3 monkey cards and shuffle them into 1 half of the deck, and this is going to be the bottom half of the deck. Now, those monkey cards are going to act as a game timer and will signal the end of the round. If you are 2 or 3 players like us here, you're going to play 2 rounds. 4 or more players, you're going to play 3. So we've got our monkeys in the bottom half of our deck there. Now if you draw a monkey card in your turn, you're going to place it to one side and draw again. The first 2 have no effect, however when the 3rd one is drawn, the round will immediately end and you move on to round end scoring. So this is my hand, which I'm going to put face up to the side for now. In your turn, you will take one of 2 actions. You can either gain a card or you can play an expedition from your hand. When you draw a card, you can either draw one of the cards on the display, don't replace it, which is quite tricky because a lot of us are used to refilling displays, or you can draw from the top of the deck. If the display is empty, you're going to draw 2 from the deck. So I don't actually like any of these, so for now I'm going to draw from the top of the deck. Pop that there, and this is my hand. If you have more than 10 cards in your hand, you cannot draw and you must play an expedition instead. An expedition is a group of cards played from your hand. So I'm going to cheat and take these into my hand. Each card has 2 traits. It has its colour, which here is green and here is red. Cards in an expedition must share either the same colour or the same role. So that's actually 2 students. That would be an expedition, or this would be an expedition because all of these cards are red. Played expeditions will stay in front of you until the end of the round when they will be scored. For now, I am going to play an expedition. I am going to play this red expedition. So this is a red expedition with 3 cards. I'm going to place that in front of me. So once you've played an expedition, you're going to resolve the effects of your leader's traits, its colour and its ability. You may resolve either or both of these in either order. So colour is red. If your expedition size is large enough, you may advance your vehicle at the site matching the leader's colour. So my vehicle's here. I need an expedition of at least 1 to move. So I can move that up. You don't have to reach the threshold to place an expedition. You can place an expedition without moving. So I could place a pink expedition of 2, but I just wouldn't get to move my vehicle there. After or before you've used the colour ability, you may use the leader role. So in this case, it's a pilot, which means I could have moved the vehicle on any of the sites. But red's quite tough to get, so I chose to move the red. But all of these have a different ability. So that is the pilot's role. You can move any expedition. The students here, I mean, we live in a student town, so I'm going to say students suck. They will not allow you to move an expedition, but there are a ton of them. So they're good for building up the large expeditions, which will gain you points. They do have some uses. Now I've played my expedition. Any cards left in my hand return to the display. So let me just have a quick look. This here was the guide, and his ability means I need 1 less card to move up on an expedition row. The photographer here gives you +1 point at the end of the round on the expedition he's leading. So don't forget that these abilities only take effect if that leader is at the front. So I have no cards in my hand now, so I'm going to be drawing. I'm obviously not going to be placing an expedition, so I'm just going to draw from the deck. I'm going to put these face up so you guys can see them. And do you know that's photographer? So I'm going to take a second photographer. do I want to draw? Bearing in mind, whichever way round I place these, I'm going to be able to move. So I think actually, rather than draw again, I'm going to place the photographers, but this time with the blue. So that's an end of round scoring. So I don't need to worry about that now. But because the expedition is one or more, I get to move up on this track. Now, you'll notice these tracks are all slightly different. So the blues here score you nothing early on, but get bigger the further up you go. The reds are a pretty standard 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now, the purples here are quite interesting. They cost you 1, then 2, then 1, then 3. But these cheap movements up the track actually give you negative scores. But the other ones are big points. So you're going to go 10 to -5 to 14. And being on that -5 is fine as long as you're not there at the end of the round. The greens, again, are fairly standard. You need quite sizable expeditions to go up there, but the points are good. Same with the pinks. So all of the tracks work in a slightly different way. So I'm going to draw, and I've got a purple pilot and continue purple student. And here we go. See, moving up this purple track can be risky, but it can pay off. Let's draw. Oof, more purple. This deck was shuffled. But let's not forget, I can use the pilot to move up any track. So I'm actually going to play an expedition, 3 purple with the pilot at the front. And I can choose to move up this pink track. So I'm actually going to do that to score points. Players will continue taking turns until the 3rd monkey is drawn. And that will immediately trigger the end of the round. So this is my current hand. I have 3 blue cards and I need to decide which leader ability I want. Now here we have the physician. Now he's quite cool. He will actually allow you to keep cards in your hand when you play an expedition. So if I had him on the top and I played a 3, he would allow me to keep 3 cards in my hand rather than discarding them into the display. But seeing as these are the 3 cards I have in my hand, I'm actually going to play them with the botanist on the top. Now, the botanist, because he is the largest expedition with the botanist as the leader, gives me this frame, and I will immediately score 2 points. So we're going to move up to there. If I still have this frame at the end of the round, I'll get another 2 points. I now need to move up my blue 2 or more. That's fine. We move up there. So I'm going to draw a card, and it is the 3rd monkey. Whoa, editing magic. So our 3 monkeys are out and the round immediately ends. The first thing you're going to do is return any cards in your hand just to the deck. I have no cards in hand, so that's fine. You're going to resolve any special end of round effects. Now, with this set of 6 cards, there's only one, which is the botanist. I still have the botanist frame, so I gain 2 points from that. Then we're going to gain points from the expeditions. You're not going to move these vehicles back. They're going to continue going forward over the course of the game. So let's just go through. And here in Great Zimbabwe, I'm going to score 1. Here we score nothing. 1 point here. 2 points here. 3 points here on the green. And no points on the purple. So vehicles stay where they are. The next thing we're going to do is score our expeditions. I'm going to take that frame off. Now there's a handy little guide here on the scoreboard that tells you what your expeditions are worth. So 2 cards is worth 1 point, and I have 2 of them. No abilities that grant me more points, so we'll take those out, and I score 2 points for those. This expedition here has a photographer on the front, so that is actually a 3 card expedition. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 with 3 cards. 3 cards is worth 3 points. 5 threes are 15, so that takes me to 28. All these cards go back, we shuffle the deck up, and we start another round. Now, say in a 2-player version, we're only going to play 2 rounds. So we're going to shuffle all of the cards back up and set up again with the 3 monkeys in the bottom half of the deck. So going into the second round, you can see we're going to need larger expeditions to move our vehicles, which is a double-edged sword because it's harder to do, but also don't forget, as you can see, the larger expeditions get you bigger points. So you need to bear that in mind. We have our little marker here. We've also got a little token here for when we hit the 100, we flip that over and keep going round the same board. Now, obviously, I am going to compare this to Ethnos. Ethnos is a game we've been playing for years and we really enjoy. I feel like this has definite pros and definite cons over Ethnos. This plays better at the lower player counts because instead of the area control map Ethnos has, we have these expeditions instead. So there's no kind of fighting against other players. Even if there are other players here, they're not going to block you, they're not in your way, which kind of happens in Ethnos. Honestly, I'm not a huge fan of this artwork. I prefer the wizards and fairies and dragons, but that's very much a personal choice, and I could understand why some people would prefer the sort of more realistic characters here. This game takes up a lot more room. Now, in the rule book, they actually suggest doing it as 2 rows of 3, which starts getting very big. That's actually how they recommend it in the rule book. That's a bit cumbersome, which is why I did it the other way. I don't know, these don't seem as satisfying as the map is what I'll say. You know, you play an expedition and you go, and that's it. But this definitely plays better at the smaller player count because obviously Ethnos is area majority and we all know that certain games benefit from more players, area majority, bidding games, etc. So it still plays 2 to 6 players in about 60 minutes or so. So we do like the fact that it is open for a huge number of players. And it also has the variety with all the extra characters. However, I do feel like it's not, the symbols aren't really clear and really obvious. In Ethnos, it actually had text telling you what the leaders did. And these little symbols here take a bit of getting used to. Maybe once we've played it another dozen times or so, these will sink in. But for now, we're still having to look a lot of these up. So I don't think the symbology is great. If you don't own Ethnos and you want a game that happens quickly, because the turns are quick, it moves around the table quickly, which is what we always liked about Ethnos. This does the same. You draw a card or you place an expedition. So turns are quick. So even if you're playing with the full 6 players, you're not waiting ages for your turn. You might like it more than Ethnos. You might prefer Ethnos. If you've played both, let me know in the comments which you prefer. I think I'm on the side of Ethnos. I do really like the fantasy element, and I like the area control element, even though I'm not a massive fan of area control. I think Ethnos does it really well. As a standalone game, ignoring Ethnos completely, this is great. Let's say if you've played both, you're going to compare. It's only natural. But Archeos Society is now available, which Ethnos isn't. Check it out. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, click like, subscribe, all that stuff. Thanks for watching. See you next time. Bye.